seats. Welcome, everyone, speed skating delegates, to the ISU Congress in Seville. This is a workshop. It means it's a meeting where we will take no decision. The purpose of this workshop is to present from the technical committees their proposals for changes in the technical rules of our two disciplines. Moreover, this meeting is your occasion as delegates to this Congress to raise questions or comments to the proposed changes. The decision on these changes will follow in the ordinary section meeting on Wednesday or Thursday. So this is the occasion to raise questions on these technical rules proposals. If no questions are coming or comments are coming to certain proposals, we will assume that those are considered as accepted and will just be reported to the section meeting later in the week. When there will be questions or remarks, the technical committees will review those comments and will report back 2 days from now whether they consider these comments to merit amendments of the rule proposals. So this will happen later in the week. What we're doing now is to collect feedback and comments on the proposals made by the technical committees. Well understood by everyone? Any questions to how we will run this workshop? Good. Then we'll proceed with the proposals. We start, as usual, and according to the agenda, with the speed skating technical rule proposals. And you will all... No. Thank you, Mr. Panov. This is a workshop. The workshop is not minuted. It's the responsibility of the technical committees to take account of the comments that are coming, because we'll report back later in the week and that will be minuted. It's okay with everyone? Thank you for giving me the chance to clarify, German. So the technical rules, as you are aware, are the last part of our rule book for the two disciplines. It's not only the privilege, but also the responsibility of the technical committees to review the technical rules prior to each Congress and to propose amendments to benefit their respective discipline. Some of the technical rules, or many of them, are detailing the special regulations. So we will see when we go through the agenda that some of the proposals are linked to proposals to change the special regulations of the discipline. And those proposals will, of course, then be kind of pending until we have dealt with the related rule proposal for the special regulations. Just so that this is not the occasion to start discussing special regulation proposals. That will come in due course when we have the ordinary section meeting. No questions? Good. Then we proceed and we start, as I already announced, with the technical rule amendment proposed by the Speed Skating Technical Committee. And I leave to Alexander Kebalko, Chair of the Speed Skating TC, to give a short introduction on each proposal.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to say thanks to those members who submitted proposals to technical rules. There were only 2 letters with proposals from Japan and from the Netherlands. And we took into consideration those proposals, and you will see, actually you see in already printed version, probably those changes with maybe some amendments or with some changes. So shall we go
Yep.
proposal by proposal? Proposal number 105 on page 58. Our proposal is to just clarification for the must start, as you see in the reasoning. So there are some difference in composition of the semifinals in must start between Winter Olympic Games and World Cup competitions. So we now trying to make it equal for both events, or actually for all events in ISU family, speed skating competitions. No questions? Okay. Proposal number 106. We talk about maximum number of competitors in the Junior World Championships. So we make it 30 instead of 28. So full 5 rows at the start. Each consists of 6 competitors.
Must start.
Yeah, and they must start, yes. No questions? Thank you. Proposal number 107, that's about Rule 244, about a general way of preparation for draw and for arrangement of the start orders in the international competitions. So looks like we didn't touch this rule for a long time, and now we're trying to make it a little bit more fair and with different possibilities. Yeah, Susan. Yeah, just maybe just try to say. Can you switch on? Please switch it on.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Susan Sandvik, Show, US Speed. Just a clarification, I think C is redundant, so you can take that out.
Well, yes, thanks, but now I read it carefully again, and that's two different. So you talk about B and
B.
C, but that's two different meanings. C is talking about, let's say, very low-level competitions for kids or for juniors, CD, and so on, because when you have a lot of kids, you just divide them into 2 or 3 groups for drawing.
Oh, yeah, that's what C is about.
Yes, yeah,
okay,
that's
so
the C about. And B about the completely talks only about 4 group, about 4 skaters, 6 skaters, or 8 skaters. That's up to referee to decide. So
right,
that's
and so there'll be maybe more than 4 or 6 or 8 if you're dividing them in just 2 to 3 groups. Like
yeah. That's the reason. Yeah, because there can be 3 groups.
That's why I'm wondering why C isn't redundant.
No, it's different. B, when you have groups of 4 skaters, 6 skaters, or 8.
Yeah.
And then C is you have, let's say, 100 skaters.
Yep.
You just divide them in 3 groups.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's to make it simple. No other questions? So the rule as it is, we don't change anything. C is still in the book. Yeah, probably most important change, proposal 108 for rule 245. That's about rearrangement of the starting order. Any questions? Is it clear for everybody? Okay, thank you. Proposal 109, Rule 253. So that's we took from Dutch proposal about unsportsmanlike behavior in the must start. So now referee empowered to take a decision if there are bad behavior or unsportsmanlike behavior in the must start actually. Any questions? No questions? Thank you. Proposal 110, that's about Rule 256, and proposal from Japan Skating Union about shortening the distance. Yeah, if skaters for some reasons will cut the line during overtaking, so the referee will not disqualify such a person. All good? Thank you. Proposal 111, Rule 261, deal with armbands. So now we'll make it equal for all events, for team sprint and for team pursuit, because nowadays it's, we have a different way of distributing armbands for team sprints and for team pursuit. Now we want to have it equal for both. No questions? Okay, thank you.
Just before going to 113, please observe that earlier today the Congress accepted to include urgent proposal number 9 in the agenda of the Congress. This was a proposal related to Rule 265, and it's connected to proposal number 113. So it complements this proposal and was proposed urgently because there was an oversight that Alexander will now explain.
Yeah, thank you, Tron. Thank you. So both proposals, or actually we go for proposal 113, which dealing with Rule 265 about must start. So technical committee decided to propose changes to current rules, and we think with a new way of distribution of intermediate points and the final sprint points, the games will be more interesting even than nowadays. We saw during several competitions that skaters who are trying to qualify for finals able to qualify for finals with only winning of one intermediate sprint. So then they will just skate not to be lapped. Even it's happened during Olympics, which is not a good, very good picture when we see two skaters not competing till the end, but just staying on the ice not to be lapped. So both proposals, actually the proposal number 113 is dealing with the senior level of competitions. And so let's finish, 113. That's our proposal. Still, winner will be skaters who are finishing 1, 2, and 3 and the final sprint. And the rest will be by points accumulated during intermediate sprints and during the final sprint. No questions here? Proposal 113. Okay, thank you. And urgent proposal number 9, similar, but what we're trying to achieve here is to make it a little bit easier for juniors and for near seniors who are competing during the Junior World Cups. We're trying to make it easier to adapt the senior level or senior format of the must-start races. So nowadays they have one intermediate sprint, which we believe is not enough. So we are trying to establish second one. So they will have 2 intermediate sprints and 1 final. And exactly the same, first, second, and third, and the final sprint will be the medal winners, and the rest will be ranked by the accumulated points. No questions? Thank you. And proposal actually 113, if you can see, the para 7 results of the team sprint, it's just clarification the third assigned skater, we add a small clarification, a third assigned skater, not the third finishing skater, but third assigned skater. Proposal 114 is dealing with the title of the winners of the championships. Yeah, it's just clarification also. Yeah, all around, we just mentioned the winner of all around and sprint classification combination. And the first from start races at the championship, it was missing because we introduced championships in 2017 championships. It was missing in the last Congress. No questions for proposal 114? Okay, thank you. And proposal 115 deals with official protocol. Also, we didn't change and we didn't touch it for a while. It's more adjustment to the existing practice and clarification for all of us to know what must be in official protocol after completion of the competition. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander, and thank you to the delegates. We take this, as I announced at the beginning, as a sign that you are comfortable with the proposed rule changes for the technical rules of speed skating. So this will be just formally reported to the section meeting, and we'll proceed with these rule changes as then in reality already accepted by the comments and the lack of questions we had right now. Then we can proceed with the short track technical rules. We'll just have a swap of seating up here. So whether you have the agenda in the hard copy or in soft copy, we are at page number 76, Technical Rules, Short Track Speed Skating. All the proposals for technical rule amendments are in the agenda document. There are no urgent matter proposals on this part for short track speed skating. So, Natalie, I'll leave the introductions to you. This one. Just a minute.
Do we have anything?
Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to present these technical proposals. Before I start, in this block, there are quite a few proposals that relate to a new event that we have been working on for short track with the potential for inclusion in the 2022 Beijing Olympic Game. A proposal was put forward to the International Olympic Committee in October, and the outcome will be decided in a few weeks, and we should know this outcome in July. At this moment, we need to prepare for a favorable answer and think positive. And so we needed to prepare many proposals, both under the technical rule, but also, as you will hear Wednesday, under the special regulations. There are not too much detail at this moment in our proposals because we wanted the flexibility to be able to adapt them based on the feedback that we will receive from the IOC. But we also wanted the flexibility to be able to change them through communication throughout the seasons to make it perfect for in 2 years if we have a favorable reply from the IOC. So the first three proposals that are here, 164, 165, and 166, are relating to this new event that we have worked on for short track. 164 will be slightly amended, and the new text under Rule 294, paragraph 1 will be add text as follow. C, team races. D will be deleted, and the rest will stay. 165 is planned to remain exactly the same, and 166 at this moment will be withdrawn. 166 will be withdrawn. $167, depending on if we have this event or not, which at the moment we're not sure yet. We have been working also with the concept to explore eventually a system a little bit like in tennis, where a portion of the athletes would be preceded and officially in the main program. This proposal would open the door in our World Cup for us to be able to do that. 168 is actually clarification on common practice. For a while now, more teams are traveling with technicians and specialists for equipment. And so this, in effect, allows those technicians to come to the field of play in all our events. 169, again, relates to the new event. No question? 170 basically has a couple of different things in this proposal. We have increased the number of skaters per race a few years ago, and we realized that our show, the races were more action-packed and our show was better, and it was a positive thing, but we also realized that with many advancements arriving in many cases, we ended up sometime with a little bit too many skaters. For instance, in the quarterfinal 500 meter, where we ended up sometime with 6 skaters. We believe 5 skaters is the ideal for the show, but 6 becomes a safety issue. So for these reasons, this proposal relating to 295 para 2D, 2 all the way to 2H has some modification. For safety, for a preferred number of skaters per race, for the quarterfinal with less often 6 skaters, and for more country guaranteed in finals, and also for B finals with more often the ideal number of skaters. We propose that we first go with the advancement, and then after qualify if spots are remaining skaters by time. Instead of currently we qualify number 1 and 2 in most races, and then we add the advance, and we also qualify by time, and then after that, on top of that, we are adding the advancement. Yeah.
Wilf O'Reilly, KNSB. Just for clarification, with the advancement that's been made, when you're seeding the skaters, particularly for the 500 meters on the start line, are you taking the time of the advanced skater in front of the time of the fastest qualified skater in the 3rd position? Where do they come on the line?
Just so that I'm clear on your question, you have your skater officially qualified, and then you're going to have the advanced skater,
Absolutely.
and then you're going to have the skater qualified by time.
Yes.
And your question is, how do we seed them on the starting line?
How do you seed the advanced skater compared to the skater that qualified by the fastest time? Does the skater that has the fastest time get placed on the 3rd position of the start line in front of the advanced skater?
That's a good question. I will get back to you with the answer on that before Wednesday morning. Okay. Other question on this one?
Just clarification, the start line is done according to the time of the previous round, so there is no difference between advanced skaters and the normal skaters. If they have, the advanced skater has a time, this time in the previous round will be taken into consideration for the start position.
You're saying the time of the advanced skater from the previous round,
right? Yeah, this is the current regulation, yes.
I still will double check and get back to you on that.
Okay. Thank you for these comments. We'll check whether, I mean, this proposal was not meant to change what the question of width was about. Question to be double-checked is the explanation given by Herman. So technical committee will take care of this before we meet again on this item.
The next proposal is 171. It relates to Rule 295, Para 2H. And basically, it's just to release the confusion that we had from not standardizing how many people were skating the B final between World Cup and Championship and then the Olympics. So now, in all our ISU events, it will be the same. If you have one skater, we're not racing. If we have two, we're racing. 172. Basically, this is just, it's impossible to declare the race finished, so this is just to clarify the rule to make it with what's actually our reality. 173 gives clarification on the order of a classification after all the racers that gets out of the first round. Previously, we had the concept of a virtual ranking +1 in the position, which was really confusing for everybody. This removes the +1. It's still a ranking just for the purpose of a classification in case we need it. And this is the actual order where the people will be listed. 174 relates to the new event and will be amended. So it's Rule 295, Para 10. And the new text on the second line will say relay, comma, not comma, relay and mixed relay distances, and the end of that sentence will be removed. So there will no longer be an mixed gender team competition. (175) enable teams to make a change, a substitution of skaters when there is a start or a restart. 176 basically changed how we seed skater in an overall championships. In the current moment, if you have points in the 1500 meter, it carries over the quarterfinal of the 500 meter, or sometimes the heats, depending if you're at the junior world. So it becomes an overall classification. With this proposal, every distance seeding will be run with the distance classification until the end of the all-round competition. No question? 177 is addressing an issue that we've seen in the last couple of years, and it's basically to prevent the integrity of our races. We have seen a couple of instances in major events where a skater clearly stayed in the track to impede the race. We believe this is not fair play, and it is also to the detriment of our show. Therefore, this proposal is to give more power to the referee to do something about it. (178) refers to Rule 297, Para 2B. Basically, with off-track, we've seen instances where skaters are not trying to cut short the corner to get an advantage. They're really falling in the straightaway and then going inside the blocks, and we give them penalty. With this rule proposal, if you fall in the straightaway and you end up sliding inside the blocks, you won't have to come back inside to reskate your corner in order to stay in the race. You will not get a penalty for that. 179. Just for clarification. (180) is a rule relating to relay, Rule 297, Para 3. And basically, we have had over the past 2 years many complaints from many team leaders and coaches and members of these emerging infringements happening with what we call non-competing skater, which are the skaters that are resting between relay exchanges. So again, this proposal is to prevent the integrity of the races and also reduce the number of falls that occurs because of these things that are happening more and more in short track relay races.
Natalie, sorry.
Yeah, Susan.
Just a clarification. Our group is in favor of this, agrees with it. However, number H could be maybe made more clear by just not allowing cross-tracking at all on the push side?
Yeah.
Possibly.
You mean, do you have?
That would be a suggestion for clarification from our group.
Okay. So your coaches want us to clarify what it means?
Yes.
Okay. We can come up with a, they want us to clarify in the rule, or you want an explanation for what it means? For clarity in the rule book. So basically you would prefer something that when you're coming to an exchange, you have to push straight away. That's basically what you mean? And both skaters have to go as straight away as possible? Am I understanding you correctly?
Yes, that absolutely no, rather than saying how to direct the push, just don't allow cross-tracking on the push side.
Okay. Okay, we'll take that into consideration and talk about it and see if we can make it more clear. 181, 182, and 183 again relates to the new event. 184 is mostly just redrafted in the order of the rule, but also redrafted for more clarity in the sanction and also better defining the consequences to those sanctions when it's at the championship, when it's at the World Cup, or most importantly, when it's at the Olympic. But there's under P, there's also a small sentence that opens the door for referee to have microphone and explain better the penalties that will be issued. So currently the technical committee is working on language for explaining the various infringement that leads to penalty. And the goal is within the next 2 years to be able to either use the house announcer or the referee to give a better explanation on what happened in the races. So that's included in this rule. 185 clarifies a little better the role of the heat box zone and how skaters are to report. So it's mostly clarification. .188 again is clarification. This is what's happening at the moment. Sorry, 186, sorry. 187, currently the rule says that you have to, if there's a contact and a fall before the apex, the race will be recalled, the starter can recall the race. We're making it to the whole first corner. We believe it's going to be better for our races, for our show basically. It's going to eliminate also those cases where we're not exactly, the starters are not exactly sure did they fall before or after the apex. It will just be more fair for our athletes. So the whole first corner is included in that. And 188 is to adapt the rule to current practice. We have more and more movable systems, so sometimes the mats are extremely thick and it's impossible for the athletes to stay on the ice and get the equipment fixed without leaving the ice. So in reality, they jump on the board, which is fine. So that's the rule to allow that. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathalie, and thank you for the questions. This proves to me that the system we have with the division of the rules for the sport into special regulations and technical rules is a very valid approach, because we have had so few questions, and the assessment and considerations of the technical committees are generally considered as valid and reasonable adjustments of the details of our rules. So I thank you very much for your contribution to confirming this and help us to move forward to more important matters later on. Now, we are in the situation that we may have a longer break than anticipated. I think this is not the worst news we can have during a Congress that will last for several days. And certainly, you being all here gives you an opportunity to exchange views and opinions on various matters in the time we have available until we meet again in the general session. And to remind of that, the plenary session resumes at 15:30, right?
Four, I think.
At 4. Well, even better. Are there any questions before we close the workshop part? Thank you. Thank you very much, and take advantage of this break for whatever purpose you want.
Is this ruled in 286? I need to check because we haven't. I'm not sure.